Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your football predictions, the series where you guys go up against me to see who can get the most correct predictions for the upcoming weekend of Premier League football. Now, there is loads of football going on at the moment. There was Champions League last night, there's Champions League tonight, there's Europa League tomorrow, and the first game this weekend is actually on Friday night at 8 o'clock, which means we haven't got long at all to get our predictions in. But first, those were my predictions from last weekend. It was a really tough weekend. I got 0 correct scores. We had Liverpool beating Watford 5-0. We had Leicester beating Manchester United 4-2. We had Chelsea getting 1-0 against Brentford. West Ham beating Everton away from home. So there was some tough games to predict, and I did go through all of your predictions. So thank you to everyone who got involved last week. There was over 200 comments to go through, so I had fun going through all of them. And we had 3 winners who got 2 correct scores, and they were Solomon, Geordie and Kerry. So well done to you 3. As I say, normally we have someone with 3 correct scores or even 4 correct scores, but it was such a tough week. You 3 guys were the only people to get 2 correct scores, which is quality. So thank you again to everyone who got involved. Remember, if you want to be shouted out in my next predictions video, be sure to get your predictions for this weekend's Premier League games down in the comments. But as always, we will go through those games now. So as I say, we are starting Friday night, 8 o'clock. We've got Arsenal taking on Aston Villa. I will say that because we've only really got tonight, tomorrow and Friday daytime to get your predictions in, if you are watching this late, if you are watching this on the Saturday morning, don't worry about it. Get your predictions in for the Saturday and Sunday. I'll still count them. Just because you missed the Arsenal game doesn't mean you can't still get 3 or 4 or who knows, 9 correct predictions on the rest of the games. So if you are a bit late, please still get involved. But anyway, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal sitting in 12th, Aston Villa sitting in 13th. Arsenal have had a pretty 50-50 season so far. They lost 3, they won 3, and then they've drawn the last 2, including the game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. I watched the interview with Vieira, who was obviously a bit unhappy that Crystal Palace couldn't get the full 3 points. Arsenal did get a 90 minutes plus 5 goal from Lacazette right at the end of the game, which just got them that point. Taking on Aston Villa, who have been pretty up and down this season. In the last 4 games, they beat Everton, they beat Manchester United, and then lost to Spurs, and then lost to Wolves at the weekend as well. So again, I'd say, well, they are one place within each other in the league, which I think kind of says they are having a bit of a similar time of it at the minute. In terms of a prediction, I think it'll be close. So I've gone 1-0 Arsenal. Let me know what you think about that one down below. Moving on to the Saturday now, 12:30 on BT Sport. We've got Chelsea taking on Norwich. Top of the league versus bottom of the league. Chelsea got a win at the weekend against Brentford. Norwich got a draw against Brighton 0-0 at the weekend, which in fairness, considering Norwich have yet to win a game and Brighton are currently sitting in 4th, have had a great start, I think Norwich will be happy with that point. But again, it's still not a win. And can they get a win again, their first win against Chelsea? I think it's going to be very, very tough. So I've gone 2-0 Chelsea in that one. And then moving on to the first 3 o'clock kickoff of the Saturday, we have got Crystal Palace taking on Newcastle. Crystal Palace sitting in 14th place. As I mentioned, Vieira, the new manager, has looked great. 8 games in, 8 points so far. I think what he spoke about in his interview that I watched, you know, they've been having the performances but maybe haven't been taking the rewards from those games, like the Arsenal game being 2-1 up with seconds to go and Arsenal getting a last minute goal. Taking on Newcastle side, who are sitting in 19th place, still yet to win a game. It has not been good at all. Steve Bruce has now gone, which I think the Newcastle fans will be happy about. I know I'm happy about. He did have a tough job. He was working under Mike Ashley with one hand tied behind his back. He didn't have the backing in the transfer window, but I still think that team is better than to go 8 games without a win this season. And I'm not going to lie, I think going to Crystal Palace is not going to be an easy time at all to try and pick up a first win, but I'm hopeful for a draw, so I've gone 1-1. And who knows, I think it will be close. Depends how the players come out from both teams. I think if the Newcastle players come out and want to show, it wasn't their fault, it was Bruce's fault. It's his fault we were rubbish, not us. Then they will come out and really put on a show. But Crystal Palace have been a good side, so it'll be tight. Moving on again, 3 o'clock, Everton taking on Watford. Everton sitting in 8th place. Good start. They've won the key games that they should be winning, beating teams like Burnley, beating teams like Norwich. But then they've also lost against teams that maybe they would have hoped to have done better against. They lost a game against Villa. They lost against West Ham 1-0 at the weekend. So it's not to say that Everton should be beating West Ham or Villa, because West Ham have been really good this season as well. But they're kind of doing their job. They're beating the teams, that are lower than them, that they should be beating. And they're really going to want to try and be beating the teams around them as well. Taking on Watford, who have just got new manager in, Ranieri. Didn't quite get off to the start he wanted, losing 5-0 against Liverpool. Ranieri actually came out after the game and said he thinks Salah is the best player in the world, which, I'm not going to argue with, to be honest. He has been fantastic at the moment. Can Ranieri get a win? His first win at Watford, I'm not so sure. I've gone Everton 1-0. Again, as I mentioned, Everton have been beating those teams like Norwich promoted side, like Burnley in the relegation zone, Watford another promoted side. I think it could well be close, but I have edged it to Everton 1-0. Next up again at 3 o'clock, we have got Leeds taking on Wolves. So 2 teams who have both had a tough start. Leeds got their first win the other week against Watford, but then got beat at the weekend 1-0 to Southampton, sitting just above those relegation zones in 17th place. Taking on Wolves, again a side who also had a really tough start. I think they went some time without a win, but they were playing some of the big teams. Have now won their last 3 in a row, and that does include the win against Aston Villa at the weekend. So I think Wolves are starting to pick themselves up now. Leeds are the home side. I do like Leeds. Hopefully we can see some goals in this one. I've gone 1-1 again. I just think because last week was so tough to predict, I'm kind of just edging it one way or the other. I'm not making too many massive calls here, so I'll just go 1-1. And then the final 3 o'clock game, we have got Southampton taking on Burnley. So Southampton sitting in 15th place. They got their first win of the season, important win for them at the weekend against Leeds, as I mentioned. Burnley, however, are still yet to win a game in the Premier League, losing 2-0 to Manchester City. So, again, can Burnley pick up their first win of the season? Can Southampton capitalise off what you'd imagine is some confidence they've gathered from their first win and go on to get another one? I've backed Southampton 1-0. Again, it's just edging it one way or the other, and I've backed Southampton there. Moving on to the Sunday now at 2 o'clock. This game's not on the telly. We have got Brentford taking on Leicester. So Brentford currently sitting in 9th place, continuing to play well. Again, it's that promoted side that everyone loves to see doing well. The last few games, they got a fantastic draw against Liverpool. They got their last minute winner against West Ham with the win over them, and then losing against league leaders Chelsea at the weekend. I mean, I'm not sure if how anyone expected that one to go, but obviously it was always going to be a tough one. Taking on a Leicester side who was sitting in 11th place. They've had an okay start. Could be back on track now after a really good 4-2 win against Manchester United yesterday. Brendan Rodgers has been faced a few questions recently because Leicester haven't really started the season they wanted, but I think tactically in that game, Brendan Rodgers well and truly showed Solskjaer what he should be doing in a match with a really good display from them. Now, again, this one was another tough game to predict. I mean, you would argue that Brentford have had the better start this season, but for Leicester to go and win a game like that at the weekend, that's definitely going to make them feel, that they're kind of back in the right direction. I've gone a bit more out there on this one. I want to see some goals, and I think there will be goals here. I've gone 2-2. Again, I have gone down the draw route, and it could possibly go either way, but I reckon there will be goals, and I've gone that way. Next up again on the Sunday at 2 o'clock again, but this one is on Sky. We have got West Ham taking on Spurs. So both these guys playing in the Europa League this week. Both have had good starts. West Ham in 7th, Spurs in 5th. West Ham, last few games, lost against Manchester United, won against Leeds, lost against Brentford, won against Everton 1-0 at the weekend. So it has been a bit up and down through the weeks, but I would generally say that there are some good wins in there, and as we know, Antonio can definitely put the ball in the back of the net. Taking on a Spurs side who have equally been up and down this season, winning the first 3, losing the next 3, and then have won the last 2, including their win against Newcastle on the Sunday. 3-2 win. Eric Dyer tried to stick the ball in his own net to give Newcastle a chance, but generally Spurs were the far better side throughout that game, and Harry Kane finally got his first goal of the season after a lot of humming and hawing on whether he was going to stay or whether he was going to go. He has stayed. He has finally put the ball in the back of the net, and maybe now he can start to do that a little bit more. In terms of a prediction, I'd be interested to know who's actually the favourite here in this one, because as I say, although Spurs have picked themselves up of what have been a bit of a rocky start with a couple of wins, I would still say West Ham have looked very good as well, and they are the home side. So I've actually gone 2-1 West Ham in this one. So let me know what you think about that. And to finish off at 4:30 on the Sunday on Sky, we have got Manchester United taking on Liverpool. So Liverpool won their game against Atletico in the Champions League. Looked brilliant there. It was touch and go for a moment, but what a game. They are sitting in 2nd place, 1 point behind Chelsea, and obviously Salah's looked brilliant. 5-0 win over Watford at the weekend. You can't moan about that. Manchester United are sitting in 6th place. Again, started well, but the last few games haven't really gone to plan. A loss against Villa, a draw against Everton where Solskjaer rested Ronaldo, and obviously everyone was very unhappy about that, and then went on to lose again against Leicester at the weekend 4-2. There's a lot of conversation at the minute about the fact that is Ronaldo making the team better or worse? Why is he not doing the defensive thing that he should be doing? I mean, no way did they buy him in and expect him to do it. So you have to put the arrangements around him so that he doesn't have to do it. But anyway, prediction time. Again, it's a big rivalry here, and as much as Manchester United haven't been great in the last few, and as amazing as Liverpool have, it is not to say that on the day things can change. Everyone's got a plan until it gets into action, So I would imagine Liverpool will be the favourite here, and I have backed them. I've gone 2-1. I can see Ronaldo scoring or a Fernandes goal, but 1-1, 2-1 either way, 2-2. I can honestly see any of them happening. So I've just had to pick one, and that's what I've gone for. So that is it from me. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Those are all of my predictions up there for this weekend. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below. As I say, the first game is on Friday at 8 o'clock. So try and get your predictions in before then if you can. I will make a note of everyone's predictions. But as I say, if you are running late, if you're watching this Friday night, Saturday morning, don't worry. Get them in for the Saturday and the Sunday. I'll come back on the Saturday morning again and take the next lot of predictions. And as I say, I will go through all of them, and I will shout out the winner in my video next week. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.